next question is, how do you, so we've already discussed that people of different ages see mental health like very differently from like Bhoshaga's answer. So how do you make a person who has a negative perception of mental health come through to the other side? And so how do you do that with friends? How do you do that with parents? And what would you do differently with friends and your parents? So like, so it's a different target, right? So like you have to like talk to them differently, and you have to present your case to them differently. So what would you do differently with friends and parents?
I can start. So, I mean, with friends, I mean, if we're talking, so when you say come through to the other side, like what does that mean? What's the other side?
So they have a negative perception, sort of thing where, hey, like it's just in your head, get over it, or like something like that.
Okay.
So it could be because they were ignorant or they have lack of information, but for one case or the other, they basically don't believe in mental health. And so how do you get from there to actually like believing in mental health and taking care of themselves and seeing that hey, just because your leg is not hurt doesn't mean you're not hurt, because you could have like other mental issues that could be hindering your life.
Right.
Things like that.
Definitely. I mean, so I think I mentioned this like in one of the earlier videos. So kind of like having these conversations around these topics is kind of like building a bridge. So it's almost like a sense of, it's like a trust fall. Like if you're sharing something with someone, there's always the risk of them not validating, not acknowledging what you're thinking or your character or the things you share. So it's just, there's always an element of risk when it comes to trust and vulnerability. So, and in case of friends, maybe, I don't know, you may not feel as bad because, you know, friends come and go. Like you can, maybe if your best friend or someone who you consider to be close doesn't acknowledge or, you know, just dismisses when you share things like that. So that can be very difficult. But I think with parents, it's even more difficult than friends. So the amount of trust you place on parents, and if they're never willing to, you know, at least talk about it or help you in some way or just dismiss it away, then it's very difficult. So with parents, the way you can maybe help is, it's hard. I don't know. With parents, I feel like, you know, but there's always cases, but I feel like if someone's a parent already, they have, mostly they're sort of rigid in their mindset. Like they've seen things, they've experienced things. And even if a student, even if like a teen or, you know, an adolescent shares things, it's something the parent probably has gone through. So it's not like they're new to this. Like it's not a new feeling, you know. They might have wanted to express it to their parent, but that was never acknowledged. So that cycle repeats itself. So it's about breaking that cycle somehow. You know, and I feel like, you know, probably this generation after, that cycle, you know, can slowly get broken down. So it's a slow process, I feel like. Yeah. Well, what do you think, Bhoshaga?
Yeah, man, absolutely. I like it, especially how you mentioned that sometimes parents might be rigid, they're fixed in their core beliefs, and it's hard to share things. I'd like to take a different approach, right? Let's build a situation where parents are the one who's having a mental health issue, or our friends are the ones who's having a mental health issue, and they don't acknowledge that. They think that, hey, this is not real, it's in my head. I should do something about it. But you know that, hey, this person is actually going through something, and you can't say, hey, I think you're going through something, because then they'll come back to you and they'll say, no, I'm fine. Stop talking to me this way, right? So those kind of situations are the worst, because the problem isn't acknowledged. In other cases, problem is acknowledged. You know, it's there. You work towards it. When you don't acknowledge a problem, it creeps and it builds up. So in those cases, one strategy, at least that I found pretty helpful, is in terms of sharing examples. You know, people don't like to be labeled as things. People don't like to be labeled as, you know, they are this, they're that, they're facing this, because it does not make them feel good. So if you want to change character, if you want to put in a little spark, it's how Christopher Nolan would put in Inception. The idea is to give an example that'll make people feel a lot more relatable and a lot more filled with hope. I'll give you an example. So there was this one time where my mom, she had a lot of things going on with her life. She had to take care of me and my sister. Then we had our own relatives, and then she had a whole slew of things from work to get done, and her sleep schedule was not on point. So at that time, she had a lot of things going on, and she was like, "Oh my goodness, there's a lot of things going on." But being a parent, you don't want to show your child that you have a lot of things going on and that you can't keep things together. So you would deal with it on your own. So I looked at her and I knew that, okay, something's a bit off. So I had a chance at that moment to pick up a book, Promised Land by Barack Obama. And in that book, he shared about his life being the president. He had a lot of mental stress to take care of. He had a lot of mental issues. And what I shared with my mom is what he wrote on one of the chapters. He shared that Obama had a cigarette addiction, right? So he couldn't beat cigarettes, and he would usually smoke when he had a lot of stress going on his mind, big decisions to make. So I told my mom that this is what happened. And even when Obama was in office, there were at times he had to go out and he had to smoke, but he thought about his two daughters, Sasha and Malaya, and he thought about them going through their lives, and he wanted nothing but the best for them. So keeping them in mind versus his addictions, versus his stress, he was able to, have a much more clearer picture. If my family is fine, if his two beautiful daughters are amazing, then nothing else would come close to that. So having that as a baseline, he was able to pull through, and that was how he looked at his outlook in life. Coming back to my mom, when I shared this story, my mom looked at it in a different light. Oh, sure, there's a lot of things going on, but I'm grateful for some of the amazing things that I have, amazing kids, wonderful family, people to talk to, and help coming in so many different forms and ways. So that helped shift her perspective from being too worried and concerned about a few particular things, but to actually taking a step back and taking a breather, and then attacking the problem head on. So that is a small little thing that I would like to share. When you're dealing with people who don't acknowledge the problem, negative mind, or people who just don't want to bring that up, it's not because they do not want to share, but it's more than likely because they believe that they're still in control. So to tackle this issues of people who think they're in control is to bring up relatable examples, people who are in power, people who are in authority, notable people who are going through certain things. Think like a monk, Jay Shetty. So stuff like that, when you bring out examples, people realize, oh, okay, this is something that they're going through, somewhat similar, so I'm going to pull through in this way. So I think that's incredibly powerful, bringing out different experiences.
Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you'd like to see more videos on the topic, make sure to check out our playlist where we answer more questions. We'll see you next time.